Good afternoon, my fellow human beings. Today I want to read some pages from the pages 19 to 27 from the book of Thomas Perhacs, The Primordial Energy of Protocol. I will leave the link where I got this down below. I don't even remember, I just found it on my table and I started reading. I said, oh, I remember this. So, high creativity after the age of 40. Creativity comes out from the second chakra, is the sexual chakra. Is the chakra where your impulse, the energy to do something comes from, okay? Seldom does an individual enter upon highly creative effort in any field of endeavor before the age of 40. The average man reaches the period of this his greatest capacity to create between 40 and 60. These statements are based upon analysis of thousands of men and women, and who have been carefully observed. They should be encouraging to those who fail to arrive before the age of 40, and those who become frightened at the approach of old age around the 40-year mark. The years between 40 and 50 are, as a rule, the most fruitful. Men should approach this age not with fear and trembling, but with hope of eager anticipation. If you want evidence that most men and women do not begin to do their best work before the age of 40, study the records of most successful men and women known in American people, and you will find it. Henry Ford hit his pace of achievement until he had passed the age of 40. Andrew Carnegie was well past 40 before he began to reap the rewards of his efforts. James Hill was still running a telegraph key at the age of 40. His stupendous achievements took place after that age. Biographies of American industrialists and financiers are filled with evidence that the period of 40 to 60 is the most productive age of man. Between the ages of 30 and 40, man begins to learn, if ever learns, the art of sex transmutation. This discovery is generally accidental, and more than otherwise, the man who makes it is totally unconscious of this discovery. Actually, this is alchemy. It is annihilating the thought, feelings, emotions, and actions by opening the fourth chakra, okay? And aligning, dissolving his ego, becoming the less narcissistic as possible and codependent, aligning his life purpose with his higher self. He may observe that his powers of achievement have increased around the age of 45 to 40, but most cases he is not familiar with the cause of this change. That nature begins to harmonize the emotions of love and sex in the individual between the age of 30 and 40, so that he may draw upon these great forces and apply them jointly and stimulate to action. This means that most men think they believe they only need from women sex. Okay? They don't understand the purpose of the female energy in their lives. Sex alone might urge to action, but its forces are like a cyclone, they are often uncontrollable. When the emotion of love begins to mix itself with the emotion of sex, the result is calmness of purpose, poise, accuracy of judgment, and balance. This is the manager of our personality, okay? Together with the higher self, that Peter Gerlach talks about. What person who attained to the age of 40 is so unfortunate and has to be unable to analyze these statements and to corroborate by his own experience? When driven by his desire to please a woman based solely upon the emotion of sex, a man may be, as usually is, capable of great achievement, but his actions may be disorganized, distorted, and totally destructive. When driven by his desire to please a woman based upon the motive of sex alone, a man may steal, cheat, and even commit murder. But when the emotion of love is mixed with the emotion of sex, that the same man will guide his actions with more sanity, balance, and reason. I would add on with spirituality and sense of purpose. Criminologists have discovered that the most ardent criminals can be reformed through the influence of a woman's love. if you see the videos I did about the influence of the chakras, we did the men and the women. So the chakras under the heart chakra are masculine chakras, and above the chakras above the heart chakra are feminine chakras. So the the root chakra is the man that gives the support, gives to the woman, and the woman, because she doesn't have to work as hard to sustain herself, she has more power, sexual energy, creative energy that she shares with the man, and then with that use he has more power in the solar plexus, okay, and like that he has more stability, right? And the woman is going to, by giving more stability to the woman can do more feminine endeavors, and like this blossom and then share that love with the man. Okay, that's what he's talking about. There is no record of a criminal having been reformed solely through the sex influence. These facts are well known, but their cause is not. Reformation comes, if at all, through the heart and the emotional side of man, not through his head or the reasoning side. Okay? Reformation means heart change. It does not mean change of head. A man may become of reason, make certain changes in his personal conduct to avoid the consequences of undesirable effects. But genuine reformation comes only through a change of heart, through a desire to change. Love, romance, and sex are all emotions capable of driving men and women to weights of superachievement. Love is the emotion which serves as a safety valve and ensures balance, poise, and constructive effort. When combined, these three emotions may lift one to an attitude of a genius. There are genii, however, who know but little of the emotion of love. Most of them may be found engaged in some form of action which is destructive, or at least not based upon justice, fairness towards others, which means altruism and selflessness. If good taste would permit, a dozen genii could be named in the field of industry and finance, would ride ruthlessly over the rights of other fellow men and women. This what is some Wagner calls says that to have empathy it costs money, you know, but yes, that it is easier to ignore the needs of others, you know, or their well-being. If good taste would permit, a dozen genii could be named in the field of industry and finance. I already read this. The reader can easily supply his own list of such men and women. The emotions are state of mind. Nature has provided man with a chemistry of mind which operates in a manner similar to the principles of chemistry of matter. It is well-known fact that through the aid of chemistry of matter, a chemistry may create deadly poisons by mixing certain elements, none of which are in themselves harmful in the right proportions. The emotions may likewise be combined so as to create a deadly poison. The emotions of sex and jealousy mixed may turn a person into an insane beast. The presence of any of one or more of the destructive emotions in the human mind through the chemistry of mind set up a poison which may destroy one's sense of justice and fairness. In extreme cases, the presence of any combination of these emotions in the mind may destroy one's reason. The road to genius consists of the development, control of use of sex, love, and romance. Briefly, the process may be stated as follows. Encourage the presence of these emotions as the dominating through in one's mind, and encourage the presence of all destructive emotions. The mind is a creature of habit. It thrives upon the dominating thoughts it fed it. Through the faculty of willpower, one may discourage the presence of any emotion and encourage the presence of any other. Page 22. Control the mind through the persistent and habit. Well, this is what Bruce Lipton talks about, turning, and also Peter Gerlach, turning your core beliefs that are negative into the positive ones. It's the language between the subconscious and conscious, and on that video I explained Bruce Lipton's technique. And then you can do law of attraction by opening the fourth chakra, aligning your thoughts, emotions and feelings, and actions. You cannot forget that your psyche has to be clean, and I've already done a video explaining the index of the 7 lessons of Peter Garlick. Okay. Control the mind through the power of will. It's not difficult. Control comes from persistence and habit. It is easier to control your mind if you have a high vibrational, if you're always in a good mood, in positive vibes, you are kind to other people. The secret of control lies in understanding the process of transmutation. This is alchemy. I've already done a video about that, a summarized video. When any negative emotion presents itself in one's mind, it can be transmuted into a positive or constructive emotion by simple procedure of changing one's thoughts. There is no other road to genius than through voluntary self-effort. A man may attain to great heights or financial or business achievements solely by driving force of sex energy. But history is filled with evidence that he may and usually does carry with him certain traits of character which rob him of the ability to either hold or enjoy his fortune. This is worthy of analysis through and meditation, thought and meditation. And also I would add imagination, for it states a truth, the knowledge of which may be helpful to both men and women. Ignorance of this can cost thousands of people their privileges of happiness, even though they possess riches. There is a little, I would add a little thing. Privilege is something that can be removed, but actually happiness is, every human being is entitled to being happy because it's a choice that one does. Ignorance, this worthy of analysis, the emotions of love and sex leave their unmistakable marks upon the features. Moreover, these signs are so visible that all who wish may read them. The man who is driven by a storm of passion based upon sex desires alone plainly advertises the fact to the entire world by the expression of his eyes and the lines of his face. The emotion of love, when mixed with the emotion of sex, softens, modifies, and beautifies the facial expression. No character analyst is needed to tell you this. You may observe it for yourself. The power of love, page 23. The emotion of love breaks out and develops the artistic and the aesthetic nature of man. This is opening the fourth chakra. It lives and it's impressed upon one's very soul, even after the fire has been substituted by the time and circumstance. Memories of love never pass. They linger, guide, and influence long after the source of stimulation has faded. There is nothing new in this. Every person who has been moved by genuine love knows that it leaves enduring traces upon the human heart. The effect of love endures because love is spiritual in nature. The man who cannot be stimulated to great heights of achievement by love is hopeless. He is dead. Through he may seem to live. Even the memories of love are sufficient to lift one to a higher plane of creative effort. That's very interesting because most of us, we don't even remember the feeling of love because we have wounded inner children and we have been emotionally and spiritually damaged. Interestingly enough. So one really needs to have be physically very healthy and self-conscious to be able to arrive to this sacred union with oneself. The major force of love may spend itself and pass away, like a fire which has burned itself out, but it leaves behind indelible marks as evidence that is passed that way. Its departure often prepares the human heart for still greater love. Go back to your yesterdays at times and bathe your mind in the beautiful memories of past love. It will soften the influence of the present worries and annoyances. It will give you a source of escape from the unpleasant realities of life, and maybe, who knows, your mind will lull you during this temporary retreat into the world of fantasy, ideas of plans that may change the entire financial and spiritual status of your life. He's talking about law of attraction. So it is aligning your thoughts, your feelings, emotions, and actions, and what you actually need to. You behave as if already happened, so the emotion has to be, and the vibrational state has to be very high. The best is to do to listen to classical music, G, that it matches the crown chakra. I've already done a video about it, which notes match which chakras. Okay. If you believe yourself unfortunate because you have loved and lost, perish the thought. One who has loved truly can never lose entirely. Love is whimsical and temperamental. Its nature is ephemeral and transitory. It comes phases when it pleases and goes away without any warning. Accept and enjoy it while it remains, but spend no time worrying about its departure. Worry will never bring it back. Dismiss also the thought that love never comes but once. Love may come and go. Well, you cannot forget self-love. So, like Ibrahim Hicks says, it's if you love yourself, you have people that come and go in your life. You are never sad because you don't come from a place of lack, but from a place of abundance. And you can only have abundance if your cup of love, when your fourth chakra, is bloating of love and it's in the momentum. Okay. There may be, and there usually is, love may come and go, times without number, but there are no two love experiences which affect one in just the same way. There may be, and there usually is, one love experience which leaves a deeper imprint on the heart than all the others, but all love experiences are beneficial, except to the person who becomes resentful and cynical when love makes its departure. There should be no disappointment over love. There would be none if people understood the difference between emotions of love and sex. The major difference is that love is spiritual, while sex is biological. No experience which touches the human heart with the spiritual force can possibly be harmful, except through ignorance or jealousy. Love is, without question, life's greatest experience. It brings one into communion with infinite intelligence. And that's the intelligence of the universe. When mixed with the emotions of romance and sex, it may lead one far up the ladder of creative effort. The emotions of love, sex, and romance are sides of the eternal triangle of achievement-building genius. That's conscience, spirit, and matter. And it's also the principle of alchemy. I did a video about that. Love is an emotion with many sides, shades, and colors. The love which one feels for parents or children is quite different from one feels for one's sweetheart. The one is mixed with the emotion of sex, while the other is not. The love which one feels in true friendship is not the same that one feels for one's sweetheart, parents, or children, but it too is a form of love. Page 25. Then there is the emotion of love for things inanimate, such as love of nature's handiwork. But the most intense and burning of all these various kinds of love is the experience in the blending of the emotions of love and sex. That's the togetherness of the sacral chakra with the heart chakra and the vision. Okay, that's the crown chakra. Love alone. Marriage is not blessed with the eternal affinity of love, properly balanced and proportionate with sex cannot be happy once and seldom endure. Love alone will not bring happiness in marriage, nor will sex alone. Will these two beautiful emotions are blended, marriage may bring about the state of mind closest to the spiritual that one may ever know this earthy plane. I want to add something here that I will leave the link down below, that it is in astrology, astrology. When you do compatibility charts with another person, they will give you 5 aspects. Okay, a trine. There is a triangle of 120 degrees. It means that combining it is tuning, comfort, developing, energy flowing, innate ability, slow and constant action. And then you have a sextile, that it is angles of 60 degrees. It's complementary, energy exchange, creation, immediate productive reaction. Okay. This is like when you have in the team, the knowledge complements, or the skills are complementary. Okay. So I would say this on an intellectual level. Okay. So oppositions. This is sexual attraction. It's a line of 180 degrees. Okay, of course. Contrast, effort, passion, stress, passional attraction, slow, constant attraction. So when you are sexually attracted, I will also leave a link down below that explains the education of your attractions. When you are sexually attracted to someone, you will always have childhood wounds. Always. The key is to use the communication skills and to work on your secret union to yourself to be able to avoid being triggered. So when Thomas Perhacs talks about love and sex, if you expect to have a relationship without problems or without emotional triggers, then you are not really ready to do soul work for the sacred union of the couple, and you haven't done the sacred union within yourself. Okay? And then you have the square. There are angles of 90 degrees. It is a laceration, attention, action, reaction, emotive earthquake, or irreconcilability. And then you have a conjunction. That's 0 degree or 360. It is union, concentration, energies, fusion, and blinding actions. So which means that I will leave the link of this, what I'm talking about, down below. You have to have these 5 elements. Okay, you need to have a union. You have to have contrast. That's the sexual attraction. You have to have tensions, lacerations. Okay. You have to have complementary energies, and you have to have tuning. You have to have them all. Okay, because then it's sex, love, friendship, and spirituality. Okay, you need to have them all, and this is what it means. Okay, yes. So the only thing you can do is when the emotions, basically, is also what I've been talking on that the point is to reach the divine masculine and divine feminine. That's the secret union. And you should get to become the emperor. You have to understand that you will have these 5 aspects, harmonic aspects and dynamic aspects, right? And you will have to use the communication skills and solution finding skills, and be always in a good mood, in a high frequency, to be able to understand that you have emotional triggers. And if you do the work of working on your subconscious, on the automatic programming, and if you do the repetition of turning the subconscious conscious, when you are dealing with other people, is not the automatic programming of the subconscious that you have been dealt with between the ages of 1 and 7 in modus, but your conscious work that you have worked on yourself. Okay, that is the program that is working, and you will be able to get into the secret union of the self. We cannot forget that it's imperative to have extremely health conditions. You will not be able to rise the conscious level if your eating habits are not, and attention wise, are not optimized. Okay, so when the emotion of romance is added to those of love and sex, the obstructions between the finite mind of man and infinite intelligence are removed. The birth of a genius, page 25. When a genius has been born, what a different story it is. It is this than those usually associated with the emotions of sex. Here is an interpretation of the emotion which lifts it out of commonplace and makes of it potter's clay in the hands of God, which he fashions all that is beautiful and inspiring. Well, God wants, the man dreams, and the creation begins, okay? Like Fernando Pessoa says, Deus quer, o homem sonha e a obra nasce. It is an interpretation which would, when properly understood, bring harmony out of the chaos which exists in too many marriages. Well, that's because they are not in sacred union with themselves and they have codependence and narcissism. Okay, they basically are allowing their subconscious running their own lives. The disharmony is often expressed in the form of nagging, usually be traced to lack of knowledge of the subject of sex, where love, romance, and the proper understanding of the function of sex aside, there is no disharmony between married people. Well, I've never met so far an harmonical couple. I'm still looking. But as I am feminine and I will attract that, okay? Fortunately, is the husband or wife whose partner understands the true relationship between the emotions of love, sex, and romance. When motivated by his holy triumvirate, no form of labor of burdensome, because even the most lonely form of effort takes on the nature of a labor of love. It is very old saying that a man's wife may either make him or break him, but the reason is not always understood. The making and breaking is the result of the wife's understanding or lack of understanding of the emotions of love, sex, and romance. I would say also the likewise of the man. Despite the fact that men and women are polygamous by their very nature of their biological inheritance, it is true that no woman has a great influence on a man as his wife. Yeah, I love the scene on the movie 300 where before departing to the war, the queen tells the husband or the king, she tells him, "No other word, only my words can disturb your peace." That's what she says, right? Only my words can disturb your peace, okay? And that's interesting. Unless he's married to a woman totally unsuited to his nature. Well, I would add that most men, they marry women that do not have the intellectual capability to know what's going on. Truth being said, okay? It's the difference between Lily, which is Adam's first wife, and Eva, okay? If a woman permits her husband, despite the fact that men and women are okay, I've already read this paragraph. If a woman permits her husband to lose interest in her and becomes more interested in other women, it is usually because of her ignorance and indifference towards the subject of sex, love, and romance. Well, I also want to add that most men, they don't understand the concept of masculinity and the function of the man in the woman's life. Okay, the objective of the feminine energy is to blossom. Okay, is to be in the present moment, enjoying the moment. Okay, having the pleasure, having the emotion on the moment. The masculine energy is to make sure that the woman does not have worries and she's able to enjoy the moment. So if she's able to enjoy the moment, she has energy for the sexual activity, okay, to be creative, okay? And honestly to say, you need two to tango, and also two to tangle, okay? This statement presupposes, of course, that genuine love once existed between man and his wife. I've already realized he has not talked about the need to be friends. The facts are equally applicable to a man who permits his wife interest in him to die. Married people often bicker over a multitude of trivialities. If these are analyzed accurately, the real cause of the trouble will be often found in indifference or ignorance of the subject. Well, most likely they don't love themselves. If in the couple the wife doesn't love herself and the husband doesn't love himself, there is no miracles. The driving force for men is women. Oh, that's obvious. That's no new news. Man's greatest motivating force in his desire is to please woman. Yeah, because he needs to see the pleasure that she has on the moment, to see that he did something good. You know, the hunter who excelled during his prehistoric days before the drones of civilization did so, because of his desire to appear great in the eyes of a woman. It's important that the wife says to her husband, "I'm proud of you," okay, or but not in a narcissistic way, okay, not because to listen, it's very important to listen to constructive criticism, okay. If we're constantly telling him that you're proud but you ignore the bullshit, but to be able to listen with the heart to constructive criticism is very important. There is a song from Nicki Minaj, and she says, I know that the time is near because I hear criticism loud and clear. It's very interesting. Man's nature has not changed in this respect. The hunter of today brings home no skin of wild animals, but he indicates his desire for her favor by supplying fine clothes, motor cars, and wealth. Well, I think it goes much more beyond that. Man has the same desire to please women that he had before dawn of civilization. The only thing that has changed in this method of pleasing men and women who accumulate large fortunes and attain to great heights of power and fame to do so mainly to satisfy their desire to please women and women. Take women and women out of their lives and great wealth would be useless to most men and women. In this inherent desire of men to please women, which gives woman the power to make or break a man. The issue is that most men don't know or ignore the fact, or they don't know themselves enough to know that they need love in their lives. Men and women may be giants. The woman who understands a man's nature and tactfully caters to it need have no fear in competition from other women. Men and women may be giants with indomitable willpower when dealing with other men and women, but they are easily managed by women and women of their choice. Most men and women will not admit they are easily influenced by the persons they prefer, because it is in the nature of the male who wants to be recognized as the stronger of the species. Yeah, do you want to be recognized because you know you are recognized? It's like the narcissistic supply. It's like you are learning a language, you know that you are speaking the language. You don't need to be constantly to be told that you speak the language properly, okay? But the narcissistic does. In my perspective, what he's talking about is that in case of doubt, like in the movie 300, the queen knew he was going to die, but she was strong enough to say, "Come back," or on the shield, okay? And also on the movie 300, before the King Leonidas screams to the messenger, "This is Spartan," and pushes the messenger down the hall, he actually asks for the political support to the queen, okay? And actually, she's the one who took the decision. And in the movie Avatar, when Jake Sully arrives to the clan, and the clan leader is deciding to kill him or not, and then arrives the spiritual leader, she's the one that decides what to do with Jake Sully, because she's the one that interprets the subconscious of Mother Earth, okay? The intelligent woman recognized this mainly. The intelligent woman recognizes this manly trait, or very wisely makes no issue of it. Some men and women know that they are being influenced by the by the women and women of their choice, their wives, sweethearts, mothers, or sisters, by they tactfully refrain from rebelling against the influence because they are intelligent enough to know that no man is happy or completely without the modifying influence of the right woman, and vice versa for women. The man who does not recognize this important truth deprives himself of the power which has done more to help men and women achieve success and all other forces combined. Okay. Yes, interesting. I find this extremely interesting. That's why I read it. And I did a video about it. It's another text for food for thought. I think that the more emotional fulfilled the man is, the more he's focused. Okay, like I don't remember which video I said that, but I don't know if it is what about alpha females or about, yes, it was about the divine masculine, and it goes with this point that it said that love, but because he has the house organized, it's not a house anymore, it's a home, because the women, he has chose a woman that is the queen, that's going to become the empress, and I did a video about this, about the psychological archetypes or the psychological traits of the queen, the empress, and the priestess. Okay, so basically and summarized, he needs a queen that she's able to, together they're going to become the emperor and the empress, and then by solving the aspects that I've talked about, the opposition, the square, right? They are going to become the high priestess and the magician. Okay, I will do another summarized video about this one because it's almost 40 minutes long. Thank you very much and have a nice day. Bye. Don't forget to subscribe, click the bell button, and donations are the link down below. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. Bye.